Alright, so Mimog Raid, I have read 15 different Mimogs, or they're the same Mimog, but they're different Mimogs. But they all have the same build with Diamond Body, Demon God, Serenity, and Musclehead. Mimog has very high defense stats, the other stats are very bad. I just thought I'd go Diamond Body, can't get Legend, so it made a bit of sense. Could have gone for something like Ferocious. Not sure if I should have gone Impatient. Probably not, because I'm using pretty low cooldown skills for most of the fights. So Impatient probably would have done that much difference. And then you can't be in photo mode when Libero is attacking you. Unfortunate. But it seems like if she hits the mount, that's fine. Then I can be in photo mode. So for this fight, it is the 15 Mimogs. Then for later fights, I will be using Mimogs and some rescue pals as well. I could have used Mimogs for rescuing as well, but they are very slow when rescuing, even if they're very fast for transporting. So Mimog is more commonly used as a transporter in ranch bases, basically. With the books and maybe with the workbook exploit, you can get a couple with transport level 5. Makes a lot of difference. But not many people are using them for combat. It is mainly for that defense stat, so they are kinda neat to use when leveling. If you can catch one pretty early, it has high defense stats, it learns Ear Blade and Holy Burst naturally, which on their own are very strong skills. Then it does get the 20% same element bonus on them, also very nice. A lot of Flame Funnel. So the goal here was to get Flame Funnel hitting after Seed Mine rooted her. But since you can't really do any priority, you have to get pretty lucky with the timing, because most of the time they end up using Flame Funnel and then Seed Mine. And then by the time diminishing returns kick in, like the time it lines up, like they use the skills at a good timing for it, you probably won't get her rooted again. But there is potential. I've done it way back in the pre-Sakurajima days when Libero was actually like a difficult raid. I tried to do it with my own mount, put Seed Mine on the mount, and just before the entire wave of Clear Storm back then hits, you would have her rooted from the PAL. It still kind of works. You could do the same thing with grenades, if you do want something like that to happen. But for most of those things, like you can't hit like Lightning Streak and have a water grenade because it just overwrites the effect. So it only really works with certain skills or certain effects. Like you could use a water grenade and then have 15 thunderstorms. But other than that, something I hope they go deeper into these aggregates with all the double damage from different effects. It seems like it would be fun. Add some depth to the game. Overall, the Mimogs seem to be performing well. Libero is super effective against them. Also something to keep in mind. But since Libero, this is also the Ultra Libero, but it doesn't get a level boost. Something I do hope they change. I want them to give the Ultra Raids and the hard mode tower bosses the current max level, which they might do later. They've done it for the Legends now, giving them level 60, so maybe Ultra Libero, Ultra Rio, and the hard mode bosses will get a level boost at some point. I'm also enjoying this camera mode, or the photo mode. Makes it a little bit easier, at least with some of these big flying mounts, to see what's going on. I wish we could have a toggle, like to have keep some of the health stuff up, like the boss health, because this is cool to see, but it is a bit annoying to not see all the health bars. Yep, that's gonna take me out of it as well. But this is getting closer to what I want from... I want some sort of PAL arena or PAL mode where you can just watch PALs fight and not really be a part of it, just to do a lot of tests and like sort of those auto battle simulator games or total war games where you can sort of pit your teams against each other. Would be cool to see, hopefully one day. We are getting a lot of update stuff. This last patch was more a, not content update, more of a update. Like they gave us the world transfer stuff. It wasn't exactly a bunch of new paths and skills. It was but just new fixes and stuff. So quite neat. People have been asking for that for a long time as well. I'm not gonna be doing crossplay anything, I think. But Good for those people who have friends on different consoles. The Libero seems to be going down at roughly the same pace as the Mimogs. There are a couple of Mimogs still fighting. 5 minutes left on the clock. This is actually getting quite close. I was expecting them to kind of just win easily in a couple of seconds. Usually what ends up happening nowadays is that the Ryu fights are faster than the Libero fights. Just because of Holy Burst and Wall Splash and stuff and how strong they are. So this is the Ryu Ultra fight, skipping regular Ryu and skipping regular Libero, because it just becomes so long. If you're gonna watch, how many raid bosses do we have now? 3 Liberos and then 2 Ryus, if you count the regular Bellanoir, that is. Which I don't really, maybe. If you count that, then we got like 6 or 7 different raid bosses. Oh, that's going for me. Okay, so still no rescue pals, I think. Or are there any rescue Ryus in here? So now we're running Holy Burst, Rock Burst, and Air Blade. I decided to try a raid without Wall Splash. Just some theory crafting after doing a lot of recent raids against Xenolord with Holy Burst and like Diamond Rain and Absolute Frost and all that. Since Holy Burst is such a big part of the damage, I feel like putting something like Wall Splash on the Mimogs use that before Holy Burst, if they're both off cooldown at the same time. I want them to use Holy Burst as often as possible. I'm not sure how that matches up with Rock Burst instead. And like phase 2 and everything, but it's just something worth trying, I think. Maybe taking off Diamond Rain, I guess. Just because if Diamond Rain comes off cooldown on Xenolord, it might be better off if they're using something like Lightning Streak. Raid seems to be going fine. And all the pals look dead when I tab down. It's funny when you exit photo mode and you get this like UI update with like all the 10 pals that went down. Okay, so this is the setup for this raid. I got my Party Rescue Ryu. So Party Rescue Ryu is something I'm using now. Seems to work a lot better than the base Rescue Pals, because the base Rescue Pals, they lose their sanity and take a break and just don't rescue. And then when all the base pals are dead, the raid boss will focus the rescue pals and those die as well. And it just doesn't end up so well. So if you're just chilling, watching your pals raid, having a party rescue pal works very well. You just have it in your party, it doesn't suffer from sanity loss. You land, try to run around for as long as possible, have your rescue pal run around. It will rescue the pals that are in the base radius, so you can sort of kick the Mimog in and it will get rescued. But something to keep in mind if you're using a fire rescue pal is that if you get lit on fire from like a meteor rain, blast cannon, beam slicer, something like that. So if you end up being on fire and you have a rescue pal out that is fire, you take increased fire damage from the increased temperature. So just keep that in mind. So doing one reset here as well. I noticed with just Mimog. This is a Mimog video, by the way. I haven't mentioned Mimog a lot, but they're just small, tiny little pals. I felt like their strength would be they have so much defense and such a tiny hitbox that they wouldn't get hit by a lot of stuff, but they still seem to tank quite a lot of attacks from most pals, like a flame waltz or something, still hit them all. But yeah, I noticed when doing the raids as well that when getting rescued, they seem to freeze a lot in the beds and fall through the floor. So they had a lot of issues actually. Right now, like the best raid pal seems to be the one that like don't have a lot of issues. Like you got Bastigor seem to work very well with the beds. Palladius and Jignus worked sort of good. Rostallion worked pretty bad. Mimog seems to just fall through quite a lot as well. Now I need to reset them as well. So I don't really rate Mimog super high. Maybe it's the terrain here. I've talked about that before. I need to switch to another raid base, which is like on rock, not on beach. Something with all these beach raid bases. It's just nice that they're flat, but it seems like this sandy, grassy kind of area, the deserts as well, where I've been raiding almost exclusively, have a lot of problems with my pals just falling through the floor, or enemy pals. Like, you can end up with Xenovaders during the Xenolord fight, falling through the floor, and then your pals just stand looking down through the floor. Also a bit troubling. So yeah, 15 Mimogs did Rio Ultra with my party Rio rescuing. Kinda neat. And then here we have the regular Xenolord fight. The regular Xenolord, 13 Mimogs and 2 rescue Rios. So I feel like 2 rescue Rios, I'm not sure like in terms of speed running, but in terms of like just success rate, 2 seem to work very fine. Since you will end up with them randomly taking breaks or randomly getting themselves killed. Having 2 rescue Rios just seems to remove the risks involved. Like since if you're using weaker raid paths like the Mimog, if they all get killed at the same time, you need the revive speed to be pretty high. Or it just becomes like the Rio revives one pal that gets killed over and over. That seems to be the limit to the rescue pod strategy, is how quickly the pals die. Can you not hit me? Okay, it hit me. So yeah, that was like the problem with Frostallion and stuff. They would all stack up, all 15 get killed, and then before Rio has rescued them, Xenolord has killed the Rio by just focusing it, because it's the only pal left to focus. So that was the issue as well here. If you're using like one rescue pal or just the party rescue pal, and really, I don't like using if you're just trying to enjoy a little raid fight like this, landing and sending out a party pal, I don't really advise it if the ads are around. So trying to land when there's like 15 Xenovaders jumping after you is not nice. Like, you can grapple around, use your Gate Claw, but it's not very chill. And that's the goal here. We want to watch our pals raid. And that's the goal with the raid days. Like, sure, I could join in here and shoot a bunch of legendary missiles and plasma cannons, but I mean, we're watching this is Mimog's raid day, not mine. I've killed Xenolord a bunch of times. Meteor Rain seems to be, as I said, like, I think Omega Laser and Meteor Rain are the 2 big ones that just shred the entire army. All the pals die at the same time. And then it's just up to the rescue pals to rescue them, and for the pals themselves to not bug out. It's fine, depending on what pal you're using. Like, it's fine to use a raid army with 10 pals left, like 5 pals even for the absolute best ones, and just have the rest stuck in the beds. Then you don't need to worry about resetting. If you're using like Mimogs and stuff like that, like if you looked at the attack stat in the beginning of the video, Mimog is probably one of the worst. Like, it does get the 20% bonus on Airblade and Holy Burst, which is nice, but it doesn't really make up for having one of the lowest attacks. So raiding is not really its strength, just due to the timer. Like, if they remove the timer, Mimog would be a lot better against raids, but right now it feels... it's good for what it does as like a tanky party pal. But just having really high defense doesn't seem super good in a raid scenario. So you can see I got the 2 rescue Rios in the base. Reset the Mimogs, because you notice when a couple of them are stuck in the beds. Some good timings are when Xenolord himself gets stunned. Sometimes it can also be good if he's using Cosmic Meteor. He will fly up, start shooting at a pal that's somewhere in the base. And when you're doing the reset, he will not understand where it's gone. Can give you a couple seconds to reset and also get the rescuing going. So you're resetting for like 2 or 3 reasons really. Resets the locations of the pals, so if any of them are outside of reach that are fainted, the rescue pals will get to them. It resets the pals that are stuck in beds and not attacking. There's a bug for that. And then it also resets like their attacks, so they will just use another wave of their best attacks. So I am using Diamond Rain here in this attempt. I am wondering if it wouldn't be better to swap it for Lightning Streak Airblade combo. So all the Mimogs would use Holy Burst instead of Diamond Rain. I think it's worth considering, just because Holy Burst is such a huge amount of the damage. Like, I think Holy Burst itself is more than half against these two raid bosses, not Libero. There's a lot of stuff not happening right now. Seems like there's a lot of Mimogs in the beds. I did one reset, pretty sure. It's been one reset. That's the one benefit of the pals that get stuck in beds when he focuses them. He's just standing there looking at it. He does that for a while and he flies off. It gives your pals a couple of seconds. Gives your rescue pals a couple of seconds to finish relaxing or taking their spa day. I don't think it's worth building like hot springs and stuff. It could be. Like, really, I haven't really messed with the rescue pals that much. I found that just putting 2 of them in a base or having one in the party is fine. And then I do the rest of the stuff like very bare bones. But I guess you could try out using the pal monitor stand settings, adding like the wave generators, hot springs. I know you can manually feed them cake during the raid, but I feel like the sanity loss they get is based on taking damage or something. Because I feel like they get hit by one stray Meteor Rain or one stray Omega Laser. They drop to 0 sanity immediately. Like, it's not timer based. Like, maybe if I had 15 beds, you know, and hot springs and everything, that would help, but I don't think so. Like, maybe it would make it 3 attacks instead of 2 until they're 0. But then it's still gonna have this interval when they might take a break. So like, yeah, when they reach 0 sanity, they might take a break every 90 seconds or something. And it will last for 90 seconds. So hopefully, I think both of them are on a break right now and one starts rescuing maybe. And there's not any incapacitated Mimogs, they're just stuck in the beds. But usually one of them is working, hopefully. Otherwise you'll just have to survive for 90 seconds until they start rescuing again. But they still managed to do Xenolord, so Mimog's success so far. The ultra versions of Ryu and Libero, and then regular Xenolord. And then I am gonna try just to see what the damage is like, but they do have extremely low DPS stat with that timer. But I'm gonna try the ultra as well, just to see. Yeah, and you can see that it's been about a minute and they're all dead. It didn't really work out. So that's it for Mimog Raid Day. They got walled at Xenolord Ultra. So thanks for watching.